Welcome back to T. Shaw's Progressive Bluegrass. How's everybody doing today? Thank you so much for coming back to Season 3, Episode 1. Got a lot of fun stuff in store for Season 3. A lot of guests lined up. A lot of exciting things going on in the world of bluegrass. A lot to talk about. First, I need to apologize for the longer than expected hiatus between the conclusion of Season 2 and me returning for Season 3. I've had a lot going on. Just excuses, mostly. A couple reasons. Some rationalization. But mostly excuses. I've got them. I've got them in spades. You like excuses? Well, you're come to the right place. First and foremost, the number one reason it's been so long, as you can see, if depending on what format you're watching or listening, I'm embracing video. I have no idea why people want to look at my smiling face. But YouTube is the number one podcast listening platform, and it's because of video. So here I am. You can see me when I do interviews with guests. Hopefully you can see them as well. Hopefully this works. Before this, in my first 2 seasons, I was using Audacity, which is a free program. Love it. Worked great. It's free. So it fit my budget, which was pretty nice. And it took me a long time to learn. It was difficult. A lot of YouTube videos, completely self-taught. But I was intimidated. New technology, new program, new software. And I'm learning video and learning how to edit and completely reinventing the wheel. But it's only to better serve my listeners. You. Thank you. So, just the fear of the unknown. I've been procrastinating for a while. Well, as you likely have figured out by now, you can't see me. Yes, I learned that video is a whole new animal. I'm simply not ready for video quite yet. But perhaps after the IBMA, I'll have to take that step. But it's not just a step. It's a leap. I've got to upgrade my camera to look good. I need to alter my lighting in my studio. I need to learn to shave and comb or brush my hair. I've learned I've got boogers. I really don't think you want me to share my boogers with you. And if you do, well, this podcast isn't for you. There will be no booger sharing. None. Sorry. In addition, with new software, I was using a work computer, which worked great. It's probably actually much nicer than the computer I replaced it with, but it was my company's computer, and anytime I wanted to download something, I needed administrator permission. It was kind of a pain in the butt. So I bought a really cheap laptop. It works with my docking station, works with the podcasts. Now, a lot of you are asking, why didn't you get a Mac? Everybody in the industry uses Mac. Everybody in the industry uses iPhones. I'm well aware of that. I actually bought a Mac Lite in 2019. I used Mac Lite in 2019 because I wanted to see, am I missing something in the Apple universe? What am I missing? Why is Apple so special? And I bought this Mac and played with it for a few days and messed around with it and couldn't find any advantages to it. But then when I started my podcast 2 seasons ago, I thought, I'll use GarageBand. That's going to be a great program to use. And I pulled out my Mac again for the first time. I was excited. I'm finally going to jump into the Apple universe. And apparently my laptop at this point, my Mac, was too old to support an Apple proprietary software program, GarageBand. So I never used my Apple. I appreciate your patience. I promise you I'm getting to the bluegrass. Okay, so at this point, I have a new computer. I have new software. I might as well go for the trifecta. I got an Android phone. And same thing. What? Why aren't you using an iPhone? That's what musicians use. Well, I've had an iPhone since 2020. I had a previous iPhone, previous generations. I'm that weird freak that goes back and forth between Android and Apple. And they both have ups, they both have downs. But the thing with Apple, if you plug your iPhone into a PC through the data cable, the only thing you can access is the photos and videos. You can't access any of the other files on the phone. Now, maybe you can do that with the iCloud, the fancy upgraded iCloud, but I didn't have it, and it was a pain in the butt. But with Android, I can access all the files on the phone through the data cable, including a recorded phone conversation. I have a handful of interviews when cameras aren't available. Maybe it's a musician, maybe they're traveling, they're on the road. A phone call is all I'm going to get. And I'd much rather use the Android to record the phone conversation, which, by the way, I'm not being creepy. It's not a secret. When you record a phone conversation on a phone, it announces to the other person, you're recording this conversation. And sometimes that's all a musician has access to. So when I record on a phone, the Android is easier to drag and drop. I swear bluegrass is coming. But I'm hoping not to do interviews on the phone very much because it's a single track recording. I can't edit sound separately. It's kind of a pain in the butt, especially if I fart or belch or my cat meows or they have a dog barking, whatever. With a single track, it's hard to edit. So I'm going to avoid using the phone. But ironically, my next two interviews happen to be on the phone. So it is what it is. So yada, yada, yada. I got a bunch of new technology, new software. I was intimidated to take the time to learn how to use it. And frankly, I just didn't sit down and figure all my shit out. Now, my second excuse. This one's got a little more validity, at least in my opinion. My father passed away. Many of you may remember I spoke of him. He is the reason I became the music fan that I am. He was a massive folk music enthusiast. He resurrected the careers of Kingston Trio, popular folk music of the 50s. He re-released a lot of their albums on CD in the 80s, created a record company in the basement, released original Kingston Trio material that didn't exist prior to it existed, but it just was never released. And he's done a ton with the Kingston Trio. I owe my love of music to him. I do not enjoy folk music. Never have, probably never will, but I'm certain it was part of the reason I was influenced into, or allowed to be influenced into, bluegrass. Fantastic. Love bluegrass. Obviously, T-Shaw's Progressive Bluegrass would not be here today if it wasn't for my father. So we're heartbroken. We miss him, but he's likely in a better place. But we had a wonderful tribute. My brother, Ian, did an amazing job. I had Jack Williams, a singer-songwriter that was on one of my father's labels, perform Friday evening. Had a wonderful service Saturday, followed by an open mic, song circle where a lot of people participated. Then we had the Folk Legacy Trio perform Saturday evening. They did an amazing job. Folk Legacy Trio is essentially the Kingston Trio. All the members of the Folk Legacy Trio have been in the Kingston Trio at some point or another. None were original members. They filled in as different members moved on, passed away, whatever the case may be. But the widow of Bob Shane ended up selling the naming rights, the Kingston Trio, to another band not associated with the music business, I tell you. Kind of rough. So they're the Folk Legacy Trio now, but amazing, wonderful, heartfelt weekend tribute. It was awesome. And recorded the whole thing. Well, I should say, had it recorded. I didn't record it myself. So if you wanted to watch it, I'll include a link in my liner notes. And the Folk Legacy Trio wasn't recorded, just the services, ceremony, and the Jack Williams concerts. So there you go. So it took a little bit of time. Got a pretty good excuse. Let's see. What else has been going on since I've been here on the air? Well, I'm sure that this is old news to most of you, but Molly Tuttle and Golden Highway are going different directions. Molly Tuttle is staying in the music business. She's going more pop route. We're going to get into this a little bit more in the episode. It takes some serious cojones. Your first and second album with Golden Highway wins the Grammy for Best Bluegrass Album of the Year. What an amazing accomplishment. You win 2 Grammys, and you're going for something different. I'm not worried about Molly. I'm sure she's going to be just fine. A little concerned about the members of the band. I know last year I spoke of Kyle Tuttle frequently, one of my favorite musicians, and how the freedom of having a steady paycheck from Golden Highway allowed him to pursue what he truly felt was his sound, his mark in the music industry. Kyle Tuttle's Labor of Lust, an album that came out last year. Fantastic album. Ideally, he's going to be just fine, but he just had a newborn, just had his first child. So actually, I hope this ends up being an opportunity for him. I hope he gets to kind of develop a permanent band and run with it. And his sound, I would really, really enjoy them being successful and being a full-time thing and continuing on. Bronwyn Keith Hines, who played fiddle for Molly Tuttle, she's got a new album that was actually nominated last year for Bluegrass Album of the Year as well. I Built a World. I have not listened to it. I'm sure it's excellent. If it was nominated for a Grammy, it's probably very, very good. For those of you who are keeping track, some kid named Billy won the Grammy, but she was nominated. Shelby Means, the bass player, also released a solo album, Suitcase Blues. And she's got a lot of history in bluegrass. She actually was one of the founding members. I believe she was one of the founding members, but she certainly goes way back, very early on with Della Mae. Ideally, she's going to be just fine. Have no idea what Dominic Leslie's going to end up doing. Maybe he will play with Kyle. Kind of feel like what I've witnessed, what I've seen. Don't know Dominic personally, but they seem to be two peas in a pod. They seem to get along really well with Kyle. And when I saw Kyle Tuttle's album release show/tour last March, he was playing. And when I saw him earlier this year, Kyle Tuttle band earlier this year, Dominic was playing with him. So hopefully he kind of jumps on that bandwagon. It's just fine. But you may have also heard Jason Carter left the Traveling McCurries and Del McCurry. He had been playing with Del McCurry since he was 19. It was his first. I wouldn't be surprised if it was his first job ever. Certainly it's his first professional gig. Also, likely a steady paying gig. But he's in his 50s now, and he wanted to do his own thing. It was now or never. And good for him. I'm excited for him. I think he can pull it off. But as talented as he is, with the experience he got, playing with Del, playing with the Traveling McCurries, he's got an amazing voice. He's also tag team with Michael Cleveland, another power fiddler. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm a little nervous for him because it is getting harder and harder to make a living in bluegrass. The internet's amazing. It allows access to all of these options. Endless options. So many albums I have not heard yet. The internet makes it so much more available, but it also gives us so many more options that it's harder to stand out. It's almost easier to get lost in the shuffle. Let's take a quick pause for a message from our sponsor.
1, 2. It's a big purchase, it's a big deal. Trevor Shaw knows exactly how you feel for refinance or a new home. Trevor Shaw will help you get your loan. Trevor Shaw will help you get your loan.
Hello, I'm Trevor Shaw. I'm not just a bluegrass aficionado. I'm a bluegrass aficionado that's a mortgage loan officer at Chat Mortgage in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'd be honored for the opportunity to help you get your residential mortgage loan or refinance anywhere in Tennessee, Georgia, or Colorado. From veterans using their hard-earned benefits to first-time home buyers needing down payment assistance to retirees finally getting the home they've always dreamed of. Call or text me today at 864-50-T-SHAW. That's 864-50-T-SHAW.
It's a big purchase, it's a big deal. Trevor Shaw knows exactly how you feel for refinance or a new home. Trevor Shaw will help you get your loan. Trevor Shaw will help you get your loan.
Chat Mortgage is powered by Almeida Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 271603. Chat Mortgage is located at 6650 East Brainerd Road, Suite 208 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Phone number 423-591-9801. Trevor Shaw, NMLS number 929381. Okay, new subject, or at least semi-new subject. All right, so something else that I have noticed, especially since post-COVID, bands more frequently, especially the smaller bands, the bands that are, not Billy Strings, are doing regional tours. If they're based out of Nashville, they're touring in the Southeast. If they're based out of Colorado, they're touring essentially Colorado and the immediate surrounding areas. If they're in the Northeast, they do the Northeast. Now, a lot of these bands will still get out, and you'll be able to see them at a festival in your region. But the regional tours, it's becoming much more common, too, to see bands that maybe have to have an additional source of income, or they're playing a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then they head back home within driving distance, or they're flying in just for a festival because it's a bigger paycheck than a tour. But I'm seeing fewer bands tour beyond a local home base, less than a day's drive. And I'm assuming the obvious reason for this is cost control. Expenses have gone up. Ticket sales have dropped. Venues have disappeared. But I got a chance to see one of these regional bands that I talked about last year that I'm so excited about, the Fretliners. The Fretliners are a perfect example of they're growing. They're getting a lot more of excitement, but they're primarily keeping their tours within a hop, skip, and jump of Colorado. So when they make it out here, I was really lucky to see the Fretliners at the Station Inn in Nashville. They rarely get over the Mississippi. They rarely make it out east. I saw them last summer at Frankfurt Bluegrass Festival in Frankfurt, Illinois. They really haven't been out this way since. But they were playing at a festival in North Carolina. Might have been Merrillfest, actually. Can't remember for sure. I should know this. My apologies. But they were probably trying to fill in a blank on the way back to put gas in the tank, and they managed to get the Station in. So it was Tuesday night, so I couldn't make plans too far in advance. Had to get to a hotel, travel up there. They played a phenomenal show. It was awesome. What a show. I was so excited. What I didn't realize until I got home the next day, I was all excited, uploading all the videos. And then my heart dropped. I waited in line for several hours for the show. The Station Inn, you can't buy tickets in advance. First come, first serve. So if you want a rail spot or you want the ideal spot so I could grab some video, you got to get there early and put in your time and get your preferred spot. And I did. And I was so excited. And I had my table in the perfect spot. And the lighting was great. And the sound was great. And I had a tripod. So I'm like, I'm going to get some historic footage. I mean, we're talking not the Grammy. What's video awards? But I'm thinking I'm winning a Bluegrass Video Award for this footage. So good. But the bass was so strong on my table that it bass thumped. Every single time the bass thumped, the camera would go out of focus. Well, the bass plays every song. So basically all the videos are ruined. They're not watchable at all. And I had no idea at the time. I mean, you're shooting on this tiny little viewfinder. And I thought I was all set up and maybe I needed to put a coaster underneath one of the leg tables. I definitely didn't realize it was shaking. You can't see that on a viewfinder. But when you load it up to the tube, awful. It's terrible. And I'm sure the audio was pretty good. Maybe I will re-release the audio one day. And sometimes, even after doing videos for 15 years, T-Shaw's Progressive Bluegrass shits the bed. Okay, but you've heard enough. Let me tell you about the Fretliners now. Fretliners, they did not disappoint. I've seen them. They're awesome. They're one of my favorite bands. And I'm glad it worked out. Got to go to Nashville to see at the world-famous Station Inn, which is a piece of history. Everybody needs to go. Bucket list item. Okay, I'm circling around. I'm grateful that I got the chance to see them because they tour regionally, because costs and being a band are very difficult and costs are up. So it's not just for the bands. The whole industry right now is in tough shape. I talked about this quite a bit in season 2. And it's the venues too. It's the management. It's everybody involved. Jane's Hideaway, one of my favorite venues, primarily a bluegrass venue. By the time you hear this, it will have closed. Closing at the end of June. And really the only other dedicated venue to bluegrass in Nashville is the Station Inn. And I'm worried about the Station Inn. J.T. Gray passed away a couple years ago. He was the owner of the Station Inn. He bought the Station Inn in 1981. And I'm sure the building's likely been paid for years. But that property is probably worth between $10 and $15 million. Could be off. Maybe it's less. Maybe it's more. I'm not a real estate agent. But it's worth a lot of money. Having a band even as amazing as the Fretliners play on a Tuesday night. Maybe 75 people. At some point, logic would say the family, J.T. Gray's family, that's inherited the business is going to sell. I'm really nervous that if even in Nashville, in Music City, a bluegrass club or bar can't make it, I'm just worried about the Station Inn. Be a tragedy if we lose it. Support your local venues, people. Support your small musicians. Buy the tickets, even if you don't go. Buy the tickets. Give them to friends. Just get the revenue going. The venues need it just as much as the bands, if not more. Now, on a happier note, I've talked about IBMA, International Bluegrass Music Association, is coming to Chattanooga. I'm so excited about this. Maybe Chattanooga is going to take over the HQ of the Southeast with Nashville and its issues. Maybe Chattanooga is the next bluegrass town, city, whatever you want to call it. I'm really, really, really stoked about what's coming. I mean, the lineup for IBMA is incredibly stacked. You've got East Nash Grass, you've got Mountain Grass Unit, you've got Peter Rowan, Allison Brown, Michael Cleveland, Jason Carter duo. It'll be the first time I'm seeing the duo. Brown and Keith Hines Band, Trey Hensley, so much more. The festival itself is completely stacked, but that Tuesday, completely unrelated, Brian Sutton and Billy Strings are playing a duo set with Royal, so a trio set on bass at a place called The Signal. It's about 1,500 people in Tennessee. Incredibly hard ticket to get. Really exciting. Actually, Brian Sutton is a role model for Billy. Looked up to him. They're both huge Doc Watson fans. They've had that connection, that bond since they first met. There was a while in 2018, maybe even in 2019, that Billy was having his Thompson guitars necks replaced with a narrower neck. He had two of them at the time and borrowed a 1948 D28 Martin from Brian Sutton. It was a double pick guard. It's a really distinctive looking Martin. And it was his primary guitar for at least a year when he was having those necks replaced. And loved it. Don't know if he had to give it back. Don't know if he bought it. Don't know if he owns it now. It's disappeared, but it's a really, 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 really cool guitar. I wish he'd bring it back out and play with it some. So maybe he's just doing, it's not related with IBMA, but it's the first night of IBMA, of the trade show and / convention. Maybe he's just having fun. Maybe the money doesn't really matter anymore. He's made likely quite a bit of it. And I'm excited about that. But then the very next day, Wednesday, which happens to be my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Billy Strings and his band is performing a show in the same venue. Kind of a last minute pop-up. Nobody knew it was coming. Local zip code pre-sale. Artist pre-sale the next day. And then tickets on sale to the public. You know, it sold out in seconds. I got super lucky. And I'm going to that, and it's my birthday. But I'm so excited with IBMA launching with Billy Strings, Brian Sutton. And even if you're in the Billy Strings show, you're going to be getting FOMO for what's going on outside of the Billy Strings show and the Billy Strings and Brian Sutton show. There's so many bands that are coming in. We've got like 6 venues, all within walking distance of each other. They're going to be having bands starting at, I'm guessing, 4 or 5 o'clock. The schedule's not out yet. And go until 11 at night in multiple venues, multiple places to choose from, multiple bands to choose from, bands you're not going to see in any other opportunity, bands that, going back to that regional thing, professional bands, but they've traveled from all over, and they'll probably, many of them, never have the opportunity to return, even coming from foreign countries. So it's over for Chattanooga, and if you're a bluegrass fan, you've got so many options. In fact, if you're like me, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out with the conflicts because you can only be in one place at a time. Chattanooga is so set up to do really, really successfully well for the IBMA. We've got a ton of bars, restaurants, clubs all in the same part of town are participating in the Bluegrass Ramble. There's going to be showcases throughout the week. It's just, this is going to be awesome. And I'm certain Billy's used to selling out 25,000 person venues. So he's not playing here for the money. My guess is he's doing this so he can be a fan at the IBMA. Wants to be part of the IBMA, and the only way to guarantee it is to have a show. What else is going on? Yeah, I saw Fireside Collective for the first time since they traded banjo for percussion. And, this is a big deal. Did I say I was making excuses? I'm so sorry. Well, by now, most of you know I'm a diehard Cubs fan. It's my first love, long before bluegrass, was Cubs and baseball. Cubs are in first place. They have a better record than the Los Angeles Dodgers. Cubs currently have a better record. Kind of gives you an idea of what date I'm announcing this. I hope by the time you hear it, this is still the case. But it's been hard to get things done with all that's going on. And Cubs being in first place has been an additional distraction. I'm working on it. I'm back. It'll be smoother going forward. Yeah. As you know, my motivation of doing this is I'm a mortgage loan officer in Tennessee and Georgia. I want to work with bluegrass fans such as yourself to help you with your mortgage needs, whether it's a purchase or refinance. I want to be your guy. I want to be the bluegrass lender. So I expanded and I got my Colorado license. So now I can help you in Colorado, Tennessee, and Georgia. I'm still working on additional states. So if there's somebody you want to work with me, or you know somebody that wants to work with me, and I don't have a license in that state yet, call me. 864-50-T-SHAW. But yes, I'm not licensed in Colorado. Of course, it always makes me think of the infamous String Duster song, Colorado. And in my head, I always sing Avacado in place of Colorado. And I don't know why, but I frequently use Cartman's voice in my head from South Park. Avocado. I can't do it, but I actually wrote like 10 years ago, if you look up on Got Dusted, fans of the infamous String Dusters on Facebook, probably 10 years ago, I rewrote, and it's there. I'm sure you can find it if you just search it in the Facebook page. I rewrote the entire Colorado song as Avacado. I talked about queso and chips, and including with chords. I use the chords there too, so you can find it. The great song. Although I've never heard anybody actually perform the Avacado version. That's coming up. I'm sure we'll talk about it. I've got a lot of great guests lined up, or at least they said they wanted to be on. We're going to hear from Adam Gruel from Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. We're going to have an interview with John Stickley. Also John Stickley Trio. He's doing a project also with Larry Keel right now. What? John Stickley and Larry Keel flat picking together? Saw them at the Red Light Cafe in Atlanta a couple months back, and it was their first or second show together. They're gonna be amazing. So I've got a lot of cool guests lined up. Got a lot of cool things. Gonna figure out this video thing. I'm really excited to be back, and got a lot in store. And please write in aggressivebluegrass@gmail.com. If there's somebody I should be talking to, send them my way. If you're somebody that you want to talk to me, hit me up. If I can help you with mortgages in Tennessee, Georgia, or Colorado, 864-50-T-SHAW. The commercial's coming up. NMLS number 929381. All the legal mumbo jumbo is going to be in the commercial. It's going to be an awesome year. Leave a review. If you like what you're hearing, tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody who enjoy T-Shaw's Progressive Bluegrass. And come back next Wednesday, where I'm going to have Ken White, the executive director of IBMA, International Bluegrass Music Association, tell us all about the IBMA coming to Chattanooga along with the World of Bluegrass. It's going to be really exciting. Make sure to come check it out. Can't wait to tell you all about it. Thanks again for tuning in to T. Shaw's Progressive Bluegrass. I'm T. Shaw, Trevor Shaw. We'll catch you next time.
It's a big purchase, it's a big deal. Trevor Shaw knows exactly how you feel for refinance or a new home. Trevor Shaw will help you get your loan. Trevor Shaw will help you get your loan.
Hello, I'm Trevor Shaw. I'm not just a bluegrass aficionado. I'm a bluegrass aficionado that's a mortgage loan officer at Chat Mortgage in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'd be honored for the opportunity to help you get your residential mortgage loan or refinance anywhere in Tennessee, Georgia, or Colorado. From veterans using their hard-earned benefits to first-time home buyers needing down payment assistance to retirees finally getting the home they've always dreamed of. Call or text me today at 864-50-T-SHAW. That's 864-50-T-SHAW.
It's a big purchase, it's a big deal. Trevor Shaw knows exactly how you feel for refinance or a new home. Trevor Shaw will help you get your loan. Trevor Shaw will help you get your loan.
Chat Mortgage is powered by Almeida Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 271603. Chat Mortgage is located at 6650 East Brainerd Road, Suite 208 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Phone number 423-591-9801. Trevor Shaw, NMLS number 929-381.